with that, we're going to pivot to our next topic, which is CNBC released this article the other day saying that, like, I think it was like a 10 anonymous executives. Okay. So take this with a massive grain of salt. Yeah. 10 anonymous Hollywood executives they each gave their prediction, right, for 2022. And one of the executives predicted that Bob Iger would return to Disney as CEO in 2022. This has been the talk of the town, okay? This has been talking of the town. George, what are your thoughts on this? I sent you the article. I know you have a lot of thought. What are your feelings on this?
Well, first, I have to say my prediction wasn't that at all. My prediction is Michael Eisner is going to replace Bob Iger, who's going to replace Chapek. That's
We're going to come full circle of life, right?
Yeah,
do it.
Yeah. It's, I mean, I look at it and I'm like, if he was going to be CEO, he would have just stayed CEO. He wouldn't have built all this up with Chapek and then right at the end of the 2021 year and then say, oh, by the way, I'm coming back as, you know, CEO of the Walt Disney Company in 2022. I just can't foresee it. It just, even on paper, when you read the words, I'm like going through it and it's like, I can't take this serious.
Well, and here's the thing. Here's the thing. Even if Bob Iger, okay, there was an article recently in the Financial Times. Alan Horn was saying how Bob Iger hand selected Bob Chapek. That was Bob Iger's pick for the CEO, was Bob Chapek. Now, he could have buyer's remorse, and he probably does. To be completely honest, he probably does have buyer remorse. But I don't think him returning would be the course of action that Bob Iger would take. I think that personally, like, look, if Bob Iger is not happy with Bob Chapek, he would kind of do like almost like a Roy Disney, Stanley Gold, SaveDisney.com kind of campaign and kind of get Chapek out of there, maybe publicly, maybe privately, and sort of kind of court outside candidates to kind of be the replacement. But this notion that he's just going to like step on back and be the CEO of Disney again, I don't think it's going to happen. And look, you got to remember, I know Bob Iger, he looks good for 71, right? But the fact of the matter is he's still older and he still wants to retire. So even if he were to come back, we're going to be back in the same situation in 3, 4, 5 years from now. So it doesn't really accomplish anything. It kicks the can down the road. Yeah. I don't see him coming back. I could see Peter Rice maybe taking the helm. Maybe Chapek steps down and Peter Rice takes a CEO spot or some outsider. But Bob Iger, it's not happening.
They already have someone replacing him as part of, you know, on the board. You know, right. So to actually give up that upper throne and then to say, well, I'm still going to come back as CEO. And I think the only way that if this even is remotely true, and that's a big fat if, which I completely doubt, that the only strategy to that then would be that he handpicked it, Chapek to go forth because with the pandy and the shutdown and everything, because Chapek is a numbers guy. You know, right. So who more are you going to pick to handle a big financial crisis is someone who knows numbers. So now that, you know, the company is kind of running back, you know, gaining more financial stability. And it's like, okay, well, you know, kick the boot to Chapek, I'm coming back in. Now, again, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but that would be kind of shitty on Iger's part if that was the case. And everyone would look at him, well, what kind of CEO are you going to be anyway? So we all know that's not going to happen anyway. But that's the only way it would look at it in that standpoint if he was to become CEO.
Well, it's really interesting that you say that, George, because I think we on this show had said that was like there was a rumor that was the case. I think it was like months ago, from what I understand. I think it was connected to kind of an Orange Nerd segment. But I think, hey, you know, you gotta plug. I think we had heard that, and if I remember correctly, I think I told you that OG that kind of our kind of our kind of a source, so to speak, our person on the inside, so to speak, had kind of like confirmed that a little bit. Like that really was kind of the case there, or at least that's what he had heard himself. It's just kind of interesting how you're kind of seeing that, or at least expressed by some kind of anonymous executives, who knows what that was. But to see that kind of expressed out in the open and see CNBC run with it and all this kind of stuff, it's a very interesting series of events here. I mean, and now you have CNBC did an interview, I think this morning or yesterday with Iger with a sit-down interview, like right after. This is all very bizarre.
Well, that's very fishy to me, Trey. Like, here's the thing. Like, okay, so CNBC is a source of this anonymous executive that's claiming that Bob Iger is returning. And then days later, CNBC had the interview with Bob Iger. Wow, it's almost like they were really trying to push the interview. Like, look, you release the rumor, you release the clickbait, so to speak, and then days later you have Iger on your show on your channel, right? CNBC. It's a little too much. Too many coincidences. Yeah. It seems like they're trying to push for viewership. So we'll drop this rumor. We'll get the talk of the town going. We'll get social media on fire and blaze talking about this. And then, you know what? In 2 and 3 days time, we'll have the exclusive interview with Bob Iger. And then that gets all the eyeballs on there, and it seems a little too convenient for CNBC, in my opinion. Yeah. A little too convenient. Yeah, I don't see
knowing Iger, he would have made an initial statement right there and then. I mean, he's very big on the media, as far as to confirm something,
Right.
Yeah, but he's very image conscious. I don't think he would say anything openly. Like he wouldn't just like come out and like just blindside a reporter like that and say, "Oh, I'm coming back." I don't think he would do.
That's why I think he was like holding it for because they were having that special interview. It's like, well, yeah, I'll play ball if you want to play ball. Sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't see him coming back, and I don't think it would be a good decision. As much as I love Bob Iger, and I think Bob Iger. Look, I don't think he's perfect by any means, but I think Bob Iger has done a fantastic job at really kind of like riding the line, like kind of like that tightrope of pleasing Wall Street, but also allowing your creatives to thrive. I think Bob Iger is brilliant at doing that. And
I sound like a Bob Iger dick rider.
Sorry, gotta drop it on you, OG.
Yes, dick rider, baby. Bob Iger dick. No, exactly. No, I might. I got his book right back there, dude. Right on my bookshelf now. But I do like Bob Iger. I do respect Bob Iger. There has been a lot of things though he's done I don't like, but I think overall he's done some good things for Disney. And I think he's really kind of built upon what Eisner kind of set the foundation for. But it's not good to go backwards. We got to move forward, even if that moving forward means no Chapek and somebody else. Peter Rice, an outsider, or somebody else. We got to move forward. We can't bring Iger back. And like I said before, he's 71 years old. You're kicking the can down the road. In 4 or 5 years, he's going to retire again anyway. And we're back in the soup, and they're back in the same position. It doesn't work out. We got to find somebody else.
I had wrote out a tweet on Twitter. Please follow me, folks, at Disney George.
Cancel George. Cancel George.
That I had mentioned that, to be honest, I would like to see a brand new, fresh take on someone stepping into the role of CEO. And OG, you had mentioned it quite some time, sort of like how Frank Wells came into the company and how Michael Eisner was part of Paramount. He came in. I would love to see somebody come in with a different perspective that may not have been at the company for X amount of years and kind of shake some things up a bit, because a lot of times that's what actually got the company through its hard times.
Look, George, amen, brother. Amen. Look, this is the problem with Bob Iger's succession plan, was that he was seemingly, I don't know for sure, but from what I've seen from interviews and what have you, he was obsessed with promoting from within. And just because you're a Disney lifer, you've been with Disney for 30 years, and that doesn't mean that you understand Disney. Michael Eisner, Frank Wells, like you said, George, were both outsiders, and they understood Disney a great deal. The Renaissance era in animation, the attractions they built in that first 10 years with like the Indiana Jones Adventure and what have you, they understood Disney, and Eisner came from Paramount. So this whole notion that you need to promote from within is BS. I don't know why he did that, but Dre, what are your thoughts on this, man? What are your feelings on this overall scenario going on right now?
I mean, it's pretty easy. I mean, do you believe, like, okay, we understand that this whole kind of corporate landscape is very much it's a meritocracy, but at the same time, there's a lot of corporate gamesmanship that goes on, and maybe not the best person gets the job. Do we believe that Chapek is the best guy for the role right now?
No, I don't. I mean, I give Chapek honestly a fair shake on this channel to the extent where a lot of people comment and say I'm shilling, Yeah. But no, he's not. If I was in Bob Iger's position, at least from where I'm standing now, I wouldn't have picked Chapek. Absolutely not.
Do we believe that somebody would be better? Sorry, George, go ahead.
Oh, no, you're fine. Go ahead.
Well, do we believe that somebody, if selected, would do better than Chapek is doing now?
I do. I think Peter Rice would have been a better choice, in my opinion.
That's who I would have picked.
So and I think that's kind of the image problem that Chapek has for himself, and that's why he's going on this kind of PR campaign with the Financial Times that kind of humanizes him and so forth, and tries to improve his image, because I think the belief is out there that Chapek is not the guy. And then when you see the year to date stock drop of 20%, I mean that's a significant thing now. For myself personally, I kind of believe that that's maybe a readjustment.
Well, even if you put like all the pieces of the puzzle together, even like with Destination D23, Chapek was supposed to be there, and it was the claims because he was afraid of getting booed off the stage and what have you. And they said, okay, no, it's because he had other obligations or what have you. And if that's true, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. I'm not saying, but let's take former Imagineer, genius man, Joe Rohde, who had 2 grand openings at both resorts of Walt Disney World and Disneyland on the same day, with Mission Breakout at DCA and Pandora, the World of Avatar at Animal Kingdom. Yeah. That he literally went from, I believe it was west to east. I forget where he started. I think it's
east to west.
East to west, right? Because you guys are 3 hours behind me. He literally started in Pandora and ended up in the collector's fortress, in one day. So, I mean, if Joe Rohde can do the unthinkable, I'm for sure CEO of the Walt Disney Company, who was already scheduled to be there, mind you. It wasn't like up in the air. So if you kind of put all those pieces together of it's coming to a head at this point, I don't feel that Iger is going to reclaim the throne as CEO. They might have like a Game of Thrones sort of thing where they just like battle out in a gladiator arena for it. But
balls out, baby, balls out.
No, you crack a pool cue and you throw it in the middle and say, tryouts. That's what you do.
Balls to the wall.
Well, and here's the thing too, like, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, and I'm not an expert on stocks or whatever, but I do feel a little bit like, because I do feel like Disney stock has gone down a lot since the last quarterly earnings because of the Disney Plus numbers, right?
Yeah.
But can we really blame that on Chapek? Because I mean, look, a lot of these Wall Street people were saying that the reason why the downturn for Disney Plus subscribers was more in line with the reason of like lack of new original content. Well, that wouldn't be Chapek's problem, because Chapek hasn't been there long enough to do anything in regard to content. It would have been Bob Iger who didn't properly plan for a pipeline. Look, Bob Chapek's only been there a year and a half. What do you want the guy to do in regards to he can't magically create new content.
They should have let him kind of take over without Iger being by his shoulder. I think
Right.
that's where it's like at the very beginning, he has still yet not emerged as a single-handed CEO of the company. And I honestly don't even know if he really is going to get the opportunity to, because
Right.
this may be a signal, so to speak, that even though Iger's not going to come back to it, is this the starting point that Chapek is going to be replaced? And I think, honestly, and I could be wrong, but this could be my theory, I think it's really definitely going to come to a head once this Star Cruiser opens, because I know it's going to open to a disaster. I already know.